9 out of 10 dentists recommend Simp King's Yu-Gi-Oh channel.
Welcome to another video. Today we are playing a budget deck. That's right, it's budget Sword Souls. And the secret to playing budget Sword Souls isn't the Sword Souls. Swords are pretty easy to play. Everyone kind of knows the Sword Soul kind of 1-2 combo. The secret is the Tenyi monsters. Tenyi, very cheap. The entire archetype is ours. So very easy to get. Very powerful. Secretly powerful. Alright, so of course we are only playing 3 URs here. And of course one of our URs is our 1 copy of Mo Yi. You need the 1 Mo Yi. You can search it so easily. We got so many searches. We got Ecclesia, we got the Emergence, we got Dragon Cycle. We got lots of ways to search Mo Yi. Opponent is hitting us with the Droll and Lock Bird. And Droll and Lock Bird going to stop us from adding cards to hand. That means no drawing, no searching. So Mo Yi off the table here. Let's activate our Ecclesia on the field. We're going to get the Taya. Taya doesn't add anything to the hand. So we're going to make the Taya here. We are going to banish our Emergence. And we're going to go into one of our budget options. The Stardust Spark Dragon. Now if you had multiple of these, we only got this 1 UR here. Second UR, Grandmaster Chiao. If you got multiple of these, probably would have been fine to make him. Because he has a negate, but we won't get his search. So we're not going to be making him. We're going to make the Stardust Dragon. Alright. Stardust Dragon here. We're going to send an Ashuna to the graveyard. We're going to set an Imperm. And we're just going to pass here. Stardust Spark Dragon can stop himself from being popped once. Let's see what the opponent's got. Opponent. Pot of Desire is going to Pot of Greed here. And they are playing Ecclesia. And they are also playing Sword Souls with the flexing Prismatic Mo Yi opponent. I'm jealous. What are you going to do here? They are going to reveal Adhara in hand. Alright. Let's negate. Negate the Mo Yi. Mo Yi is a once per turn, so if they have a second Mo Yi, they can't use it. Opponent doesn't have any Sword Souls in the graveyard, any worms in the graveyard, but they do have Heavenly Dragon Circle. Let's make our Stardust Spark Dragon undestroyable before opponent gets any negates going. Once per turn, can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. Opponent getting the Grandmaster and activating triple tactics. Oh my goodness, this is so savage. Opponent obviously cheating, and they're playing more than 3 URs. Triple tactics gonna give them a bunch of options: either Pot of Greed, take control of a monster, or look at our hand and choose a card, shuffle it in the deck. Probably the right thing to do here is just take our monster, but opponent is gonna Thoughtseize us, take a look at our hand, take a card, and they're stealing our 1 Mo Yi, shuffling it back in the deck. Super rude, opponent. They're gonna special summon Hara here. Make a Monk of the Tenyi, okay. Special summon Strategist, discarding Shadana. Alright. Opponent. Opponent, are you going to be a reader here? So opponent has a very clever line here, okay? All they have to do, they don't have any, they have a bunch of banished cards, they're all face down. All they have to do is attack with a Monk. Monk is going to destroy itself, but when it does, that triggers Shadana. Shadana is going to banish itself, and then pop a monster on field. That doesn't really matter, but that's going to trigger Supreme Sovereign to banish a card from field and graveyard, and that's going to be pretty devastating. Opponent, do you see the line? Opponent does not see the line, instead just smashing our undestroyable Stardust Spark Dragon to deal us a bunch of life point damage. Is that the right play? You know what? I don't think so. And we're going to teach our opponent a lesson, because we got Fallen Albaz in hand. This is our searchable target with Ecclesia. You know, you can activate your Ecclesia on your opponent's turn, summon a Fallen Albaz, and we're going to budget Synchro, or budget Fusion, into Brigand the Glory Dragon. All you need is a level 8 or higher monster and a Fallen Albaz. So we just stole our opponent's monster and made it Brigand. And now we can just smash our opponent's Monk. Opponent not even activating their Tenyi, because we can just stop our monster from being destroyed, and opponent is out of here beating extremely hardcore, not budget Tenyi Swordsoul with budget Tenyi Swordsoul. Let's take a look at our opponent's deck and see how hard we flexed on him. Alright, here is the opponent's deck. They had 2 Draw and Lock Birds. They had triple Adhara, triple Maxi, triple Ash. Look at all these URs in here. They got Shadana. They got triple Mo Yi. They got Taya. They got 2 Ecclesias. They got 2 Strategists. Alright, this is pretty typical Sword Soul. They even have a Protos here to lock us out of summoning, but we got him. We got him with a budget deck. Alright, let's go. If you like this video, if you like my budget videos, be sure to subscribe. I'll have more quality content in the future. At the end of the video, I'll have the full budget deck list with the 3 URs. Opponent is playing Sprites, and they are going first. Sprites, very powerful deck, but not unbeatable. Opponent, getting their Sprite plays out here. Now the secret to sprites is a secret to playing any deck. Don't give up, and hope your opponent makes mistakes. Opponent, going into a gigantic sprite. Very classic. Let's see what else they do. Now we do have this DD Crow here. Now DD Crow, underrated hand trap. This is only an SR, and I would recommend you start crafting these right now because you're gonna want them. You're gonna want them for tiers. Opponent sending a Ronin Toad to the graveyard, making the Sprite Elf. Is opponent gonna get greedy? Okay, is opponent gonna get greedy? Because right now they could banish their Swap Frog with Ronin Toad to special summon Ronin, and then they could use the Sprite Elf to just get back any monster. They could get back the Jet. They could get back you know, anything. It doesn't matter. But if opponent gets real greedy, they might try and get with the Sprite Elf. They might try and get the Swap Frog. So we're holding on to DD Crow. Opponent, are you gonna get greedy? Opponent, so greedy. That is just so much greed. We're gonna banish with the DD Crow. Get the Swap Frog. Swap Frog. Banished. Opponent has another Swap Frog, but they didn't send anything to graveyard. Must mean they only have 2 Swap Frogs. Alright. Got him with the value here. Opponent going to IP Masquerade. They could summon the Ronin from the graveyard. Here we go. Alright, getting the Ronin. Alright, so we stopped a little bit of value, but not that much. Opponent has the IP Masquerade. They got the Sprite Elf, and they're hitting us with Artifact Lancia. Lancia going to stop us from banishing cards. This is a little annoying. It actually stops a Shuna from being able to activate in the graveyard. But otherwise, I think we can play around it. Okay, opponent banishing. Alright. So, opponent has the ability to quick link. They can negate a spell effect, although that's probably not relevant. What I'm really worried about is this Masquerade. So what we're going to try and do is force the Masquerade to activate. We're going to get our Shuna in field. Opponent going to activate Elf. Alright, that's fine. That doesn't do anything. Shuna on field. In attack mode. And we're just going to go straight to battle. Opponent again, their search here. Alright, they're searching for the starter. Alright, we're going to go straight to battle. And this card is only activated in the main phase, so opponent just didn't activate. I think that was a mistake. They probably just activated before we go to battle, because now we're just going to pop it. Get attacking. Get that Masquerade. Now they don't get to link into anything. They have no interaction on field except to spell negate with the carrot. And we're just going to Ecclesia. Ecclesia and a Moe full combo. Now, this would be a great spot to... Now, I got a couple options here. Alright, and I thought about doing this, but I did not do it. I actually could have made White Aura Whale. White Aura Whale, boom! Pop their attack position monsters. Might be a little bit greedy though. We're just going to do regular Swordsoul combo. Make the Grandmaster. Grandmaster gonna search. Oh, you're gonna draw us a card. And if we had Baron de Fleur, Baron would be pretty good. We could just pop this Sprite Elf and then have it negate. But we don't have a Baron because we're only playing 3 URs. So we're going to show off UR number 3. The Swordsoul Supreme Sovereign Shaying. Works really well with this blackout we have in hand too. Burn our opponent. Sets him back row. And pass. Alright, opponent. We got easy ways to trigger the Supreme Sovereign. We could have actually done this on our turn as activated DD Crow. Activate DD Crow, banish a card from their graveyard, trigger the Chaying. But we want to save this DD Crow to banish whatever Sprite Elf tries to reanimate. Opponent going with the Sprite starter. And we're going to just go right now, blackout. Pop 2. Pop our Supreme Sovereign, who is not going to get popped, and is going to trigger himself. Opponent negating with a carrot. I probably should negate the carrot right now with the Grandmaster. That would be the smart play. But I don't know why I decided to try and negate Sprite Elf to force them to activate it now. I actually can tell you why. I didn't read this and I thought it wasn't starter. I thought it was the other one. I thought it was the one that banishes a card. So that's me not reading again. Trying to force that to activate. Opponent gonna reanimate a card from the graveyard. Trying to get the blue. We are gonna banish with DD Crow. And this gets negated. If this resolved, this would have kind of devastated their board. They would have had nothing. But you know what? That's okay. We misplayed a little bit. Still trigger the Supreme Sovereign though. Opponent getting the blue with their starter. We are going to banish. Banish. There we go. We banished the spell negate. So we got this Cosmic Cyclone live. Oh, just kidding. We didn't even banish that. We banished the Jet. I don't know what I'm doing. Banishing the Jet. Is this the right play? I think this is a bit sloppy. I was pretty sick when I played this game, to be fair. Our opponent going for a second Sprite Elf, but they already activated this turn. They're realizing they have no follow-up plays, and they are conceding. All right. got him with a budget Sword Soul. Even with horrible misplays, opponent was janked out so hard by our Tenyi attack that they didn't have any follow-ups. All right, well, let's go on to the next game. All right, we got a pretty interesting hand. We got a Vessel that can search for Tenyi cards. We got the Ashuna, which we're going to summon right now. I usually lead with the Ashuna because it'll bait out a Max C. If they Max C, you're probably going to lose, but at least you only make them draw one card. Let's go into Monk. Vessel going to send and add a Tenyi to the hand. We're going to special summon the Ecclesia, or sorry, normal summon the Ecclesia, special summon Moyi. Reveal the Vishuda. Going to get the token here. Go into Grandmaster. Grandmaster going to search, Moyi going to draw. Seeing our budget options here, we got the Dark Hole. Dark Hole pretty key. Drawing into the Blackout is nice. Or sorry, we searched the Blackout because we drew into the Strategist. Now, because we're playing budget, getting Blackout is actually a little more important than normal. Normally, Sword Soul make a Baron all the time, but because we only have one Shaying, getting the Blackout, getting the Shaying is actually pretty key. So, we're going to activate our Ashuna because we have Monk on field. As long as you have a normal monster, you could use the token or you could use the Monk. You can search, so we're going to search for Adhara. Adhara is, if it goes to the graveyard, going to let us search for or unbanish a Swarm from our banish zone. So if you get a banished Moyi, you could actually get your one Moyi back. Also do that to get Strategist back. So pretty useful little card. And we're going to set the Blackout. We're going to pass the opponent. Just leave this on field, just a body. Falls in the graveyard on its own. Opponent activating D-Shifter. D-Shifter does not really matter now. They must have just drawn it. Would have been pretty annoying on our turn. Doesn't stop our plays, but it does, you know, really mess us up, stop our draws and all that stuff. Opponent going for a turtle. That is very rude because we have no way to get this boy back. We only got the one. Opponent summoning an Alpha. As long as they only have one card on field, we cannot activate this. And opponent saw us add it to hand, so they know about it. So opponent gonna try and play around it. Opponent activating his effect, gonna bounce monsters to the field. So we're gonna negate with a Grandmaster. Get negating, banish the Moyi. Maybe we can get Moyi back later. Get negate opponent. Masterpiece negated. Opponent activating a lure. Drawing two, banishing a Danger Thunderbird. Going to battle and hitting our Grandmaster. Very rude. We're going to hold on to this Blackout because we cannot activate it right now. Drawing a second Dark Hole is a little annoying. We got to find a way to get around this Alpha. So we're going to go for Shaman. Sneaky little Shaman play, and this is what I told you. Pay attention here, because this is the sort of play that can save you when you're playing Sword Soul, even if you're playing non-budget version. Shaman is going to let us discard one of our Dark Holes to special summon a Tenyi Spirit Vishuda from the graveyard. It can summon any worm. We're going to go into a Monk. And you might be thinking, hey, why are you going into a Monk here? This doesn't seem like an optimal play at all. This seems like a very suboptimal play. Well, I'll show you. So we're going to go to battle. Monk going to attack, and when our normal monster attacks, when attacks declared involving a face-up non-effect monster, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. So we just pop that Master at Beast with our little Monk. Monk, get in. Get in for some damage with the Shaman. Get in with the Gameciel. And, you know, we actually had, I'm going to just go back here. We actually had the ability, oh no we didn't, because we only have Ecclesia and Glaber. Ecclesia, not a worm. So yeah, that was the best line, that was a good line. Opponent, activating a Danger Bigfoot. They are discarding a Turtle Kaiju to get the Danger Bigfoot on field, okay. Opponent going to battle, they still know about this Blackout, they're desperately playing around the Blackout. Hitting our Shaman. Very rude, Shaman down. Opponent banishing a bunch of cards to get the Eater Millions, and they probably thought that we'd hit him with the Blackout, but I see no need to hit him with the Blackout right now. One other key trick with the Tenyis: if you have the Blue Spirit Shatana in the graveyard or in your hand, you pop, and your normal monster gets popped. Your Monk gets popped in any way, even by your own effects. This Shatana is going to resummon the Monk and pop a card opponent controls. So we actually have 3 pops with this Blackout right now. So we're just going to pass. And now it's our turn. Opponent can't do anything else. We're going to summon Ecclesia. We don't even need to do this. Get the tie here. We're just going to go for a bit of redundancy. Special summon the Baxia. Baxia going to let us shuffle 2 cards into the deck. Get spinning. Chain block, not that it's going to matter. With the Taya. Send another Adashuna to the graveyard. Shuffle those cards in the deck. And get them with their own turtle. Bam. Very nice. And see, showing you how it is important to know how to play with your Tenyis. Alright, let's go on to the next game. Alright. We got kind of crazy, but we're going second. An opponent is playing generators with the generator boss stage. Now this is a very interesting archetype that involves setting up a field spell that makes a bunch of tokens, and then they tribute the tokens to activate effects. Opponent has a trap trick here. Not much we can do about that. Trap trick getting the boss fight, and that's going to activate their field spell. Now we're going to negate this right now, because what this does is it says if a card is added to your opponent's deck to their hand, except during the draw phase, which we are in actually right now, you can make your opponent send a monster from their hand or field to the graveyard, their choice. So we don't want to get a monster sent from our hand or field to the graveyard, so we're negating this now, but realizing that the opponent actually could not trigger this because they did this in the draw phase. Bit of a mistake. No reason really to do this in the draw phase. They could have just waited. Opponent activating the boss stage. Again, the Dobelgus and the tokens. And activating it to get more bosses. Nihug and Edgarda. Okay, so what do these do? What do these do? This one has a quick effect tribute to generators. Negate the activation, destroy that card when a card or effect is activated. So this is like an Omni negate. So we're pretty glad to have that one negated. Opponent has the Edgarda, which targets a card on the field and banishes it. And they got this one, which negates the summon of a monster. So opponent, we're just going to give you a nice little Dark Hole. Boom, budget, Dark Hole. Still good. It's been, came out, you know, when the game started, it's still good. Ecclesia. Gonna get us our 1 Moyi. Gonna reveal the Emergence. Get ourselves a token. And another fun fact, if your Moyi gets targeted with an Imperm or an Effect Veiler, Heavenly Dragon Circle will let you tribute it and dodge and special summon the level 4 Water Tenyi from your deck, so you can salvage your combo a little bit. Grandmaster, gonna search. Moyi gonna draw. Draw that Vishuda, add the Blackout to hand, and we're gonna search with the Emergence for a Strategist. Strategist, discard. Special summon the token. Burner for 12. And if I was paying attention, I might have been able to get lethal. Was there a way to summon an additional monster on the field? There might have been. Let's go to battle. Hit him for 28. Hit him for 34. Set. Opponent 600 life points left. Opponent activating Lightning Storm. Alright, this boy is going to die, so let's tribute him with a Heavenly Dragon Circle. That is going to let us add a worm to our hand. So let's add that worm to hand. And opponent doesn't want to see it. They are out of here. Alright, well, we got him with the Swordsoul budget. Let's go on to the next game. Alright, we got the Circle, we got Taya, we got Fallen Albaz. Let's start off with the Vishuda. Activate our Heavenly Dragon Cycle, and this is what I was showing you. You get your Moyi. Now we got Moyi, and we got the Vishuda in graveyard. Summon the Moyi. Reveal the Taya. Now, a fun little thing that we could have done, and I should talk about this. If you're playing regular Swordsoul and you're not limited with URs, if you had that line, you could have actually linked off into the normal monk. You could have linked into the monk. And you could have tributed the monk with the Heavenly Dragon Circle, and then you could have special summoned the Moyi to the field. So you'd still have your normal summon, and you could have tied and got an additional level 8 synchro off field. Now, the reason we didn't do that is because we don't really have a good second synchro to go into. Like, we can make a Stardust Spark Dragon. Is that really great? Make Colossal Fighter. This does not count as a UR, by the way. So, yeah, just something to be aware of. Oh, you're going to draw a card. Gonna get the search. Drawing into this means we can search for the Blackout. Let's activate. Get the Strategist. Strategist gonna discard one of our Tayas. Get ourselves a token. Shaying in defense mode. No need to summon this in attack mode ever. Let's hit the blackout. Pass the opponent's turn. Opponent. Activating Sky Striker Mecha. That's going to negate our Supreme Sovereign. That is not ideal. Going into the Mobilize. Going to get that Mecha Hornet Drone. Going to make the token and go into a Kagari, which will add one of those cards back from the graveyard to the hand. And all these Sky Striker cards are not once per turn, so we are going to negate. Do not want our opponent negating our monster effects. Negate that ad. Opponent, what other plays you got? Triggering this, but it's not going to resolve yet. Opponent, activating right of Admir. They also have the adventure tokens. We are going to pop, and here's the pop. I'm like, okay, well, we want to keep Supreme Sovereign alive. This is probably, you know, it's okay if this dies because we don't, like, this is negated. So if we pop it, it's going to die. So we have two options to pop here. We could pop the token and the ace, or we could pop the Fateful Adventure and the ace, and I think that's really the best line. I think pop in the Kagari and pop in the Fateful leaves them with a monster in their main monster zone, which shuts off all the Sky Striker spells. I think that's really the best way to go about it. So that's what we're doing. Leave them with that monster in the main monster zone. Opponent has Spirit Charmers. What is this nonsense? Discard a card, take 2 cards from your deck with different names for each other that are Charmer or Familiar Possessed monsters. Okay. So they're getting a Familiar Possessed Hiada, and they're getting a Awakening of the Possessed. Alright, what is this nonsense? It boosts the attack of the Familiar Possessed cards, okay? So they're getting another Familiar Possessed, but they're not big enough to get through the Supreme Sovereign. But opponent has a Mind Control. Mind Control going to take control of our monster. It can't attack or be tributed, but they steal it for the turn. And opponent's getting but boosted by each different attribute they have. So they have Earth, Fire, Wind, and they stole our Water. So their monsters are boosted so much that they have lethal damage. Alright, well, good job, opponent. That is not something I've ever seen before. Very clever. And they got us. So, you know what? Budget, Swordsoul not ready for whatever this nonsense was. Alright, let's go on to the next game. Alright, final game with the budget Swordsoul. Now, I just love Swordsoul as a deck. It's so fun to play. And even this really budget version is still quite good. So if you're struggling to afford Swordsouls because there's no secret pack for them, but you want to try them out, this is just like a good way to get into the deck, you know? It's just like a budget list, only 3 URs, and I'm sure you have copies of Baron. Everyone has Baron, so throw that in, makes this deck like 100 times better. The extra deck really, a lot of just random cards you probably already have you could throw in, improve this deck list a lot. We're gonna go into the Grandmaster, search for the Strategist. And that's something to be aware of, that you want your Moyi, but Taya also can do the combo pretty well on his own. Going to Cheying. We're going to set this Cyclone. Because Cyclone, great to pop spells and also triggers your Supreme Sovereign. That's why we're running 2 Cyclones and we're running the... yeah, here we go. We're going to go a little bit farther here. We're going to Shathana. This is what I said about Tenyi plays. We got the Shathana in graveyard. We're going to go into the Shaman. Shaman going to discard Vishuda. We're going to get the Monk back, and we're going to link off into the Berserker. So that's something to be aware of. We did that. If you have a... Where is he? You have an Ashuna. If you have an Ashuna, you actually can do this play. Ashuna, and just you have to discard a card, but you Ashuna, you get any other Tenyi, you link 2 into the... You link 2 into... Where is it? Link 2 into this boy. Discard a card, resummon from the graveyard, go into the Berserker. And Berserker is just a 3000 attack normal monster, but you notice we got the Shathana in graveyard. So if opponent pops this, it's going to come back to the field, and it's going to pop a card on the field. And as long as he's alive, we can trigger our Vishuda in the graveyard, we can trigger our Shathana in the graveyard, all our other worms we can trigger. Alright. Opponent, what do you got? Opponent summoning a Shmeta, and they're activating Secret Village. Alright, you know what? We don't want that. And once this resolves, we won't be able to activate our Cosmic anyway. So let's activate Cosmic. Activate Cosmic. Banish the Secret Village. Opponent chaining the Witchcrafter Shmeta. Bit of a mistake here. Summoning the Witchcrafter Madame because our Supreme Sovereign's been triggered. He's been triggered, and he's going to banish a card from field and graveyard. Opponent triggering, activating Madame Bear to negate our monsters, but Grandmaster going to negate that and banish a card from field and graveyard. And opponent is done. We got him. Easy clap. Alright, let's go on to the deck list. Alright, first, let's talk about, I said this was only 3 URs, but there's more. Let's talk about that. Alright, everyone has a copy of Ash because of the bundle deal. Alright, this does not count. Everyone has a copy of Raigeki because they gave it to you at the beginning of the game. Everyone has this, so it does not count. Imperm is in the bundle. That's why we got Imperm. So these three don't count for our UR count. Colossal Fighter, also one of the starter deck cards. So everybody has a copy of Colossal Fighter. Also, you're really not going to make this, so you can even cut this. It doesn't really matter. So our 3 URs are Swordsoul, Moyi, we got Grandmaster, and we got the Supreme Sovereign. Those are 3 URs. Rest of the deck, SR or below. Alright, starting off, we got Triple DD Crow. Underrated and really good. Everyone's going to be playing this in like one day when tiers release, so get this ready. Triplet Hara, 1 Ash Blossom, 1 Shathana, 2 Falna Albaz. Now you didn't see this that much. Oh, we did use it one time to fusion summon our opponent's cards, but Ecclesia lets you use your Falna Albaz to fusion summon using your opponent's stuff. Brigand the Glory Dragon lets you use level 8 or higher, and then the one you're probably going to use more often if used offensively is Sprind, which lets you use an effect monster that was summoned this turn with your Fallen Albaz. So if you do this during your opponent's turn when they summon an effect monster, you basically can use any card your opponent makes with your Fallen Albaz. So that's why we got that in here. Moon Dragon is just here if they play darks, because Fallen Albaz is dark, so him plus any dark gets you the Moon Dragon. Alright. 1 Moyi, Triple Taya, Triple Ecclesia, 2 Strategist, Triple Vishuda, Triple Ashuna, 2 Dark Holes and a Raigeki, 2 Vessel for the Dragon Cycle, Triple Emergence, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, Triple Heavenly, you saw how you can use this to search, 4 any Swordsoul, we got 1 Imperm, and the Blackout. In the extra, we got Moon Dragon, Brigand, Sprind, targets for your Fallen Albaz. There are probably other targets you could do too, but these are the ones that I thought were good. And they're all the ones that are not UR. We got Yazi. We got Colossal Fighter, just one of our random level 8s. Start a Spark Dragon. Baxia. White or Well. One thing about Colossal Fighter, gains 100 for each warrior in the graveyard. So if your opponent playing heroes, this boy's a big beat stick. And if he gets destroyed by battle, he summons himself back. He summons a warrior from the graveyard. You can just summon your Colossal Fighter back. Start a Spark. Baxia. The White or Well, Grandmaster, Leo. This is the only level 10 that's worth putting in your deck. That's not a UR. If you got Baron de Fleur, this is Baron de Fleur slot. 1 Supreme Sovereign, 2 Monk the Tenyi, 1 Shaman, and 1 Berserker. Alright, hope you like the deck list. Let me know what you think. If I made some horrible mistake and I should be playing Baron instead of Supreme Sovereign, let me know, but I think this is probably the right call for the budget list. Alright, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time when tiers are released. Alright, have a good night.